Hey everybody, Ryan here, bringing you yet another StarCraft commentary, of course. This is round of 32, Group A of the MSL, and I'm going to spoil whatever's happened before here. This is the final match, ready for spoilers now, final match between Bisu and Zero. Bisu lost to Savior, then beat Magma in the losers match, and that's how he got here. Zero beat Magma in the second game, and then lost to Savior in the winners match, so that's how he got here. And now Savior is the one who's gone through this game, through this group. He 2-0'd. And now it's either Bisu or Zero who's going to be coming out of this group and into the round of 16 of the MSL. Bisu, bit of a danger here. Zero is actually a very good zerg, up and coming. None of his matchups are actually anything spectacular. They're all under 50%, but I don't judge him by this season because it's only now that he's broken through. 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So what's very important here for Bisu is that he does not underestimate Zero. I think that's actually part of why he may have lost his Savior. I think he underestimated Savior's resolve and Savior's play. Savior, I'm not going to start talking about whether he's back or not. This is something that we will yet have to see. But I just think Savior has to be, he has to bring his A game. He has to bring the S-class protoss that he has within him and show why PvZ is his best matchup. So yeah, this is going to be on destination. We're going to have Bisu in violet or pink at the 5 o'clock position. And we're going to have Zero in the 11 o'clock position in yellow. Destination is actually a map that I find very interesting in that Terrans beat Zerg, Zerg beat Protoss, and Protoss beat Terrans. It's very interesting that it technically should be mostly a Terran-favored map, but somehow Protoss do fare very well on it. They somehow, despite the fact that the map somewhat denies maneuverability, they do pretty well. Bisu going for the standard fast expand as usual. We're going to see what Zero goes for. I don't see the spawning pool coming up yet, so I think we're going to see either an overpool or possibly a 12 hatch. 12 hatch, countering with a 12 hatch against what is usually, in most cases, a fast expand. Zero knows that Bisu goes for the fast expand probably 90% of the time, especially against Zerg, so you can feel pretty safe fast expanding. Yeah, apparently he is going for the 12 hatch, sending out that drone out just now. It's not going to be harassed by the probe. Bisu is going to send that probe inside to see what kind of scout it can get. That 12 hatch? No, okay. Apparently not. Zero apparently deciding not to send off his drone. Maybe he's trying to scout with the drone instead, going to see if Bisu goes for some sort of cheese or not. Maybe he's going to go for this expansion instead. It's going to be... Okay, that is exactly what he's going to do. That's a very interesting choice for an expansion. Maybe he's setting it up there so he can go for his natural afterwards. I don't really know this rationale, but I'm sure it'll come to play. I find that very interesting. It would be very interesting to see what the thought process is there behind Zero's actions. Maybe this is some sort of intricate strategy that he has planned out. Now going for a spawning pool, Zerglings will be out soon enough to kill that probe that's inside. No gas so far. So he might be gearing up for more of an economic build rather than a quick lair build. I think he might have set that hatchery up there just in case, so he can take his natural at any time that he feels he can. And actually having a hatchery at that location will give him access to troop movement, closer troop movement a little bit earlier. That hatchery will be able to make any troops. But now, while he's thinking of taking down his natural, that is in fact going to be harassed by the probe. If he had taken his natural earlier, that would have been harassed. But maybe this is a strategy by Zero to try to get that further away expansion, because that way he doesn't have to make his drone travel. Oh, and Bisu going for the pylon, so he's going to prevent this expansion. Zero forcing to put down a hatchery in an awkward position. And as soon as that happens, Bisu? Biro? Okay, I think I just mixed those two names together. First Firebat Zero, now this. Jeez. So yeah, Bisu now going for his gas, and Zero going for a 3 hatchery belt, but he's going to have to put down a 4th hatchery pretty soon to get his mining proper. Has that first expansion that he's going as well. Bisu going for Nexus first, then gateway and then cannons, so he's feeling pretty safe here. Doesn't feel himself needing to be very careful. Overlord just running inside now. Bisu has one cannon inside his main in a pretty decent position, and it's very hard to do a zergling run by with the way that all the buildings are positioned, so I think he's pretty good in being safe. Meanwhile, now going for the Cybernetics core. Lair upgrade. Quick lair upgrade going down for Zero. Is interestingly enough doing that at his 2 o'clock position so as not to let that probe know he's going for the lair. Bisu hasn't scouted that lair up yet, so Bisu probably doesn't know what's coming his way. Cybernetics core almost now done, and Zero has scouted that. Assimilator going down for both bases by Bisu. Only one guess so far for Zero, and he's now putting down the drone there to take down his proper natural. So 4 hatcheries on the way for Zero. 1 hatchery he probably didn't want as early at the position he wanted, but what are you going to do? When you have too many minerals, you got to use them for something. The profile going to fold away. Still alive though. Stargate now meanwhile up 4 Bisu, so we're going to see what he used that for. The Overlord meanwhile for Zero is going to fly away, trying to keep his Overlords out of position of the Corsairs and try to keep them alive as long as humanly possible. Spire meanwhile going up for Zero. He's going for 4 hatchery Spire. Probably thought earlier of going for 3 hatch Spires. We might be seeing 4 hatchery Mutalisks, and we're going to see how effective that is. Bisu does have Corsair in the way. He does have Dragoons on the ground. I don't know if he's scouted this yet though. I think he hasn't scouted this. He's going to wait for those Corsairs to come out. Still Badoon also now on the way, so we're going to see the Bisu build. I'm assuming he's going to send on those Corsairs, see what kind of damage he's going to do, and send in those Dark Templar. We're going to see if he goes from that, from the Bisu build and goes for the late Zealot High Templar Archon play that he's been using very well. He's used that very well in the match against Magma. Magma had a lot of expansions going early on, but Bisu expanded very aggressively and got a lot of weapons upgraded, Zealots and Archons on the ground. It had a bunch of High Templar to support them, and very, very nice storms, Jangbi-esque storms, I must say. So, robotics facility as well as the Temple Archives going up, and a photon cannon inside his base, so he may have scouted that Spire at this point, or maybe just has a gut feeling that Mutalisks might be coming away. That Spire is ready now, and I instantly saw an egg there being morphed into something. One of those Overlords is going to go down, and a 5th hatchery, I'm sorry, coming up from Zero, so we're going to have maybe 5 hatch Mutas. Now meanwhile Zero is moving in with those Zerglings. They are going to take down that Assimilator, I think. Those Zealots are now moving into cannon those, and Dragoon as well, so no, Zero is not going to push it. He's going to move those Zerglings alive, going to make sure he has those Grand Forces. They are camped outside of Bisu's base, so in case Bisu decides to do any sort of aggressive action, I'm going to take it out. Scourge now on the way, so those Corsairs are going to be countered. Bisu did manage to take out one single Overlord, or I don't think he's actually scouted. He knows now that the Spire's up, but I don't think he actually scouted. Oh, and a nice trap there by Zero. He's going to catch that. Oh, man. Zero being a little bit late on his timing, does not actually catch the Corsair in a scorched surround. I'm seeing a lot of Zerg do these mistakes. They get the positioning right, just right, then they just don't finish it. One Scourge now waiting outside of Bisu's base, going to see if it can catch a Corsair outside. That Corsair, meanwhile, is going to get eventually killed, or at least not going to be able to do anything damage. Sunken Colony, meanwhile, also going down for Zero, so he's being defensive here. He knows Bisu might push out with forces, because as soon as he gets a bunch of forces now on the ground, he could push out that Corsair, now finally dying, and Dark Templar now on the way, but I don't think they're going to be able to do anything. That Sunken Colony is there. Those Overlords are flying all around. The Mutos all now on the way, and meanwhile Bisu has a shuttle. It would be interesting to see what he has inside the shuttle. He might be going for a 4 Zealot drop in that shuttle. Did not get spotted by those Mutos. Zero moving in with Mutos. Going to see how effective that drop is there. I don't know if he has any High Templar there or not. It might be either a Templar drop, or it might be a 4 Zealot drop. I'm going to see just now. There's nothing there to count that. I think there are actually Mutalisks on the way, so we're going to see how that goes. So, okay, no, never mind. There's our 2 Dung Templar. They can go in, going to do as many. We're going to see how badly they rape this probe line. There's an Overlord there. 2 drones. 3 drones. 3 or 4 drones, actually. Mutalisks are now. They're going to mop up. Those Arch Templars, meanwhile, are going to move in on that Spire, but Zerglings and Mutalisks all in the way. They're going to prevent that. So, well, somewhat successful, but that, Bisu doing a huge mistake in leaving that shuttle alive. Bisu doing quite on top of his game, apparently. He did play a pretty good game against Magma, but now being a little bit silly in that he leaving the shuttle behind. He should have dropped those Dark Templar and instantly moved the shuttle away. He possibly was thinking of saving that shuttle outside, so he might ferry those Dark Templar away, but with those with that Spire up there and those Mulisk probably morphing in anywhere is not going to be doing anything. Bisu, although did manage to save one of his Dark Templar and is hiding it inside of Zero's base, but he's not going to be moving in that for a while. Bisu also going down for a lot of gateways meanwhile, so he's going to get a lot of ground forces. I have to be very careful against those Mutalisks with those ground forces. Going to need Archons as well as Dark Templar, but there are in fact Archons on the way, so the Archons do a pretty good job. The Dark Templar did get cleaned out. Evolution Chamber meanwhile up for Zero, so we're going to see if he's going to try to keep up in upgrades. That's going to be very important here because Bisu has had a Forge down for a while. He probably has the weapons 1 upgrade down at this point, and heavy Zealot army with Archons is very powerful, especially when it's weapons upgraded. No weapons upgrades so far for Bisu. Before we again, as he did the last game, being very aggressive with the expanding, but he has to be very careful because those Mutalisks are pretty much what you need to try to counter that. Mutalisks going to move in, instantly going to fire with our Scourge. I'm seeing Corsairs there as well as Archons, and you got to be very careful. He's trying to pick off Zealous, trying to catch him off guard, but those Corsairs and Archons are definitely going to prevent this. Meanwhile, Bisu going in for Mutalisks